Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you might be. We're back with our Friday morning 425 show. We're gonna build some secret rotators today. How are you,
Yes,
Christos?
I'm tired. Don't go on a holiday. It's
Hey, at least
it's
you
not
got a
it's not
holiday.
advised. It's not advised. I feel more tired coming back than I was before I left.
The
So
best kind of holidays,
yeah,
obviously.
it's the best kind of holidays. Like you come home, it's like, oh man, I can finally sleep. It was good. We had
Yeah.
stunning weather, and it was good. We went up north, but I literally feel tired. By the way, your camera went blurry. Logitech Brio is having a fit this morning, or I'm seeing blurry things.
That's okay. It's probably not a big deal. I got to clean up my office because they were like, if your office is dirty,
Uh-huh.
uh,
It's not a good
you need
image
to
for
have an
Microsoft.
uncluttered background. I was like, oh god, it's
Because
just not realistic.
next week is build, right? So we're doing a few things. You're doing a few things. I'm doing some things. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a busy week, that's for sure. When is your session? Do you know your pre-recorded stuff?
I don't know. It's pre-recorded, so I have no idea.
They haven't told you when you're on.
No, I have no idea. I don't know
But
anything about it.
what we do know is 12 to 1 Pacific time next week on Tuesday. We are actually giving our workshop.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So if you're interested in building apps with like JavaScript and
.NET.
.NET for Azure AD, we're going to kick off a series at Build for Learn
Yes.
Live.
And
So
we
it'll be fun.
go, yeah, our first session is on Tuesday, this Tuesday coming. And then I think we have a gap because it's Monday something. The Monday after that, there's a holiday right after build. So we will have a week gap. And then we're back on Mondays doing our regular learn modules for 4 more weeks.
Yep, which will be perfect because I am on vacation pretty much all of June and July.
Yeah, you gotta be so tired when you come back. Like, man, I want to come back to work.
So that's the thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, what did you do on vacation?" And it's like, I did nothing. That's the whole point. I don't
Yes.
like to, especially when we go like over the summer, we go up to see my in-laws. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice because you wake up when you want. The kids have already been outside for 2 hours, running, playing, having
Nice.
fun. You don't have to worry about them because they live in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
And it's an actual vacation. Good morning, Caparino, or afternoon. Good to see you
Afternoon.
back.
Happy time zone to everyone. What are you guys
Um,
doing for summer? Are you going anywhere? Have you been vaccinated? Are you looking at doing something? Let us know in the chat.
yeah.
So
So
today, despite the fact that we have an insane amount of workload to do for build, we decided to still jump on the stream and do a quick one. And seems to be a highly discussed topic, rotating secrets. And look who it
yeah,
is.
it's
Sahil is here. Sahil is in the chat.
good
Hey there,
morning,
buddy.
Sahil. Yeah, good morning.
We, we missed you.
We're gonna do secret rotation today.
Secret rotation. Yes.
So yeah, we're going to be at Build. We're doing a workshop at Build. If you want to come, it's Tuesday morning at noon Pacific. I guess it's not Tuesday morning anymore. It's
It's
Tuesday
not
at
Tuesday
noon.
morning.
But
True.
yeah, so Tuesday morning noon. Come and hang out with us for the hour, and
Yes.
you know, won't actually be that different from what we're doing normally. Tuesdays at noon. Although I guess we'll do a show Tuesday morning, and then we'll end up going to go do Build. So,
Are
but
we doing a show on Tuesday morning?
I don't know.
We are.
I guess we haven't
I don't know.
decided yet.
We haven't decided yet.
But
Let us know. Do you want one? What do you want us to talk
anyway,
about?
well, we
Yes.
probably won't finish what we're going to get into today, so maybe we can finish it. But
We
anyway,
don't have any
so
news, do we? So we can't play our awesome graphics, but we can play. What are we gonna play?
I don't think we we were going to look at isolated .NET functions today.
Yes.
I don't think that's going to work, at least not for the immediate future,
Not yet.
because right now the .NET functions, right now the isolated functions suffer the same problem that the non-isolated ones do, which is if you add authentication schemes, it tends to blow up the host. And this time it seems particularly bad because, well, the way it looks anyway, and I'm just looking from having taken a cursory glance at it, but basically the authentication schemes the host uses to talk to the function are getting overwritten. So I'm thinking there might be a way to do it with like JWT bearer that we configure manually, which would be fine.
Were you trying to do it with Microsoft Addend.web?
Yeah, which I've given up on that. That's not going to work. So my suspicion will be maybe we can make it work with JWT bearer ourselves, but if not, I'm about half confident.
Yeah,
I'm halfway confident that that's going to work. So maybe we'll try that on Tuesday if we have time.
Yes, the good thing about the out of process is that you actually get a console app running as a function. Therefore, you have all the middleware in your disposal, apart from Addend, because it's breaking.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a functions host builder that's a derived host builder, and I don't know. I haven't looked inside the collection just yet, but I have a suspicion that that's what's breaking it. So,
there's a question from Caparino, which is slightly unrelated, but let's do this. I want to ask something about App Service. Where can I persist files that remain even after redeployment inside App Service? Storage, Azure Storage, my friend. Oh, not storage account. For example, database file. Databases are not particularly optimized for files.
You can store it in the file system, the App Service file system.
You can do that. You can mount a file system, right? On your app service, correct?
Well, you get a part of it that gets there's a part of it that gets replicated from node to node. Mm-hmm. It's basically the stuff that's in www root.
Yeah.
And you can persist that, and it'll synchronize across the nodes. But don't put a SQLite database in there.
No.
Like if you've got bootstrap files or whatever, that's one thing. Like if you've got files to kick your thing off or whatever, that would be fine. But for ongoing reads and writes in terms of locking between them, I don't know how. I don't think they're locked. I think they're just synchronized. So and persisting through a publish would be an interesting one. If you don't have delete on publish turned on, then you should be okay.
But that could mess up your other files. Like if you don't delete on publish, it could mess up your bin artifacts.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. I stored files years ago in like app data folders and stuff like that, and that seems to work fine.
If you can use storage, I would say database would probably be the next best. SQL can support files, but I don't know exactly what the requirement is, and I would ask why you cannot use a storage account.
Yeah. There used to be a doc on it. I'll see if we can find it and dig it up. There used to be some. Here we go. It's in the wiki, of course. In the wiki for Kudu is the info on the app service file system.
Okay.
And this will give you all the info you need about what gets stored where and how you can store it and whatever. Most of the file system is unavailable, but you will get parts. You will get pieces for temp store.
So you which sometimes
latency. Sometimes it's helpful. I mean, latency to storage isn't that bad.
Nope, especially if you got premium storage.
But at the same time, if you're doing stuff like somebody uploads a file and you go and process it and then delete the file, you just need some scratch space or something. Well, like that's fine. That would be a great use of it. If if you've got data that's going to persist that you can't lose, I wouldn't put it there. That seems a little risky. So, anyway,
hope this helps. Make sure you join Discord if you have questions like this. We can always answer them there.
Yep. So anyway, going to Discord, we got some questions about rotating secrets, and we get this question a lot elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question, I think it was from Sahil actually. The question was about sending notifications on secret expiration.
Mm-hmm.
And Bolt. One of the things that Bolt said was that we may want to be
Proactive.
you may want to be you may want to use certificates in production, which of course you do, but if your certificate hygiene is worse than your secret hygiene, it may actually end up being worse. Like if you don't have a CA, for example, if you don't have processes in place for handling certificates. Nice.
Yep.
Bolt bought a project car. Nice. What is it? Tell us what it is.
Is it a Ford?
If it's a Ford, Christos has a radio he can sell you that you can't turn off, and only
not the
tunes
radio.
into one station.
It's the central console. It locked yesterday, so that was a fun trip back. The GPS said, at least the GPS worked, which was scary. The navigation system worked, but I could not change anything. I could only set the GPS. Which is sad.
What about voice? Did voice work?
No, nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
man. Now that.
None of the controls on the steering wheel. None of the controls on the central panel. I could only do... Oh, and when I stopped the car, it thought that it was still running. So I could not do any of the changes that you do while you're stationary. Yet it said, well, you can change these things and you can reset Ford Sync because the car is still moving. I'm like, no, I'm not moving. I am switched off.
Nice.
Oh, God, it's insane. I don't know what happened. We'll find out this morning right after the stream. I have to go and check the car because it's finally switched off because it kept on playing on the radio even after I switched off the engine and the car. So either the battery died, which is not going to be a fun experience, or it managed to reset itself and now it's working. But I am terrified. Anyway,
just yank the battery off.
That was the second plan. But have you seen the modern cars? Like I opened the hood and I was like, oh my God, everything's covered. All I could see is like one cover.
It's all plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic. I'll pick it up. It's fine.
Yeah.
Have you tried turning it on and off again? I've tried multiple times to switch it on and off, and it did not work. And it's a scary proposition when you have a car that has so many electronics and there's no central. Like I want to yank the power. I'll do the battery, but we'll see.
Bolt, I'm partial to Saabs. I've had two of them. In fact, I'm trying to find a picture of my old one. I had a 2007 9.3 6-speed Aero, which was an absolute blast. I love that car. And I had a 2003 9.5 Aero, and ended up with a cracked engine block. And I called my dad, and I said, "Dad, I'm going to have to get rid of this car." And he said, "That sounds like a Saab story, son."
That's a dad joke for sure, man.
Yeah. So that was my So that's what that's
where your love with Saabs ended.
I mean, well, they quit making them because GM ruined them, and then they got rid of them and everything else. So you can't buy a new Saab anymore. So
yes, I know.
Look at this little here. Look at this little tiny picture.
They were solid cars, man.
Little tiny picture. I can't even zoom it in. The zoom doesn't even work. That's how small it is. See, can I open the image over here? Oh no, I can't. Oh no, there it is. See, look at that. That thing was a blast. 6-speed, tons of fun. And then that was our old gold Honda that lasted for like 300,000 miles.
300,000 miles?
And then we sold it. Somebody still bought it after that. Who knows? The thing's probably still running somewhere. So, yeah, I don't know. I had a buddy of mine who, hey, Fuel, I pay respect to Saab. I have a Volvo now. So, Sweden all the way. Yeah. I don't know how I ended up I worked for a Swedish company for like 4 or 5 years for Skanska, the construction firm. Drove 2 Saabs, drive a Volvo now. So I don't know. I'm not blonde though.
Daryl, you're absolutely right. That explains quite a lot about JP. I'll leave it there.
What, that my dad is a master of dad jokes?
No, I think about the fact that you love Swedish cars.
Well, I was thinking like, It might be fun to have a project car, put like an LSV8 and an old Volvo 240. So I don't know.
You got the equipment?
I think it might be kind of fun. Well, I have a garage and an engine jack. That's all you need, right?
True that. I didn't know you had all that.
I did see you can buy a different you can buy replacement badges for your Volvo, and I was really thinking about doing this if I can find the picture. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
To what?
But well, so if you think about Volvo, it's VOLVO, right?
Yes.
So what if instead of you just bought another
this before and I forgot. Show us.
Yeah. So instead of VOLVO, just buy another L and make it an LOLVO, the Lolvo. Here you go. Here's a picture.
You're coming out with the punches today.
I think it'd be great. I mean, I'm really tempted to buy another L for my car and just stick it on the back and see how many people notice. Why not? I mean, look at that. It's perfect. There's nothing. It can't be any better than that. It's just great on every level. So anyway, all right. So we got a bit of an express today because we got to bounce at noon. So we got 40 minutes to build a secret rotator. What do you think? Can we do it?
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's do this.
You think so?
Yeah, man.
All right. So we have secrets, right? We've got our secrets. There's a bunch of stuff on Ed Build this year too about like DID and stuff. So, so when we have secrets in Azure AD, so if you're watching the show, chances are you've used Azure AD, I guess at least once. And when you create an app registration, if your app needs to authenticate itself to Azure AD for some reason, like to redeem an authorization code, to access another API, whatever, you got to create a secret. And the secret can be one of two things. It can be just a static string secret. So I'll just go grab one of these. Let's use one I know is not going to break. We'll use this one. So we can create a secret here. And when we do a new client secret, it's got a duration of some time window or whatever. Zoom this in a little bit. And so this one's going to expire in like 3 months, right? So some secret. And when we save this, you just get the secret. And you just stick this in your config or put it in Key Vault or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. You can also use certificates. And certificates are nice, and certificates are the kind of thing that we prefer for production, because in a secret or with a certificate, the secret data itself never leaves your control. So with a client secret, you send it over the wire. With a client certificate, you sign an assertion. So essentially, you sign your own JWT with your certificate, and you send that signed assertion in as your secret. And so that way, the private key always stays with you. All you have to give Azure AD is the public key, and that has many advantages because now your private key never leaves your machine, and it's always under your control. Plus, it's not getting sent back and forth over the wire, which is also always a good thing. The problem is, of course, that they expire. And certificate expiration, since at least in a lot of the bigger companies and customers that we've worked with, is bigger companies have certificate hygiene. They have a certificate authority and people and processes to make sure certs are issued and to keep up with when they expire and all that sort of stuff. You can always do a self-signed one, but self-signed really, for the purposes of management, doesn't help you much more than just creating a client secret, because it's going to have an expiration date unless you put a reminder on your calendar. It's probably not going to be very useful. So anyway, we create a lot of apps around here. We probably create more apps than your average individual, but we end up creating secrets for all of them too.
We have to keep those Azure AD and numbers up,
That's right.
Consumption. Yeah,
that's the report I want to see. Is what percentage of app registrations come from this team specifically?
Yeah.
But so you'll notice when we create a client secret, that client secret's got an expiration date on it.
Yes.
Same with the certificate. So the certificate, of course, is going to have an expiration date baked into it, rather than you setting one. But the thing about it is, the question that was asked was, well, we want to know when this is gonna expire, so we can notify people and say, hey, your secret is expiring in a few days or in a week or whatever. So let's go create one. Let's do a 3-month one. I don't know. I haven't tried custom. Do you know how short of a window you can do? Like, could I do tomorrow?
I think you can do one day.
We could do tomorrow. That's cool. Yeah. Okay, let's add that one. So we can create.
No, they're not in Sandbox, Caparino. He's currently using his MS.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
I'm using mine. No, this is mine.
Oh, yours. Okay.
Bolt says we can even do it just for today. We even have a little warning here telling us that it's about to
expire.
It's about to expire. So, so we've got this secret now, and we want to send out notifications. So we're going to do some graph queries to go figure out which ones are expiring when. And we could even, and I don't know if we won't have time to get this today, but we could even do things like automatic rotation of them, right? So you think if we start with finding near, or soonly isn't a word, right? So we'll see finding secrets with nearby expiration dates. And then we could also look at doing stuff like update the secret, push the secret value into something like a key vault. And then your app itself would use managed identity to go to key vault.
How the hell did you get ligatures inside Notepad?
My own secret. Don't ask, don't tell. No, I'm just using a font that has ligatures in it. That's all. So then the app itself could go to managed identity and pick up key vault itself, or pick it up out of key vault, right? So you don't have, you think about like sort of the management side of this, like we could automate all of these things, right? We could even if you're not using Key Vault, for example, you could always go and update the, like say you're hosted in something like an app service. Well, you could always go to app service and update your config settings if your secret is just sitting in config somewhere, which is pretty common for stuff like dev and lower environments. So you could always do that, update the secret, and then push the secret value into the app service. Say you're using app service configuration, or into something else, right? We could put that onto a queue and have a worker on a VM, and that worker on a VM reads the queue and then goes and gets the cert, gets the secret, and then puts it on the file system somewhere. I mean, there's all sorts of fun ways you can do this, right? But anyway, let's go find the ones with nearby expiration dates first. And so the first place we're going to go is the Graph Explorer, which is ak.ms/g. And of course, the Graph Explorer.
We also keep those ak.ms/g stats up.
That's right.
Metrics. Everyone's using that URL. It's apparently Christos and JP. Right.
So in Graph Explorer, which you can all get to from that link, we can peruse the Microsoft Graph, which has a bunch of other stuff besides just Azure AD. But the thing we're going to look at today are going to be service principles. So these are just these just hang off of the main. These are just sort of like a root element in here. Now you'll notice I have a lot of them. So it says your OData next. You have a next link property, so you have to go. You have to page through this, right? So let's get these out of the way. So the thing that we want to look at, let's do a select on this to make it a little bit trimmed down. Let's select the ID, the app display name, and we're going to select what's called key credentials. Key credentials, that is the path or that is the field on our app objects that has our any keys or secrets that we've created, right? Yep. And a lot of these are empty because some of these are, these are like first-party Microsoft apps that we wouldn't have created a secret for. So we're gonna have to filter those out. But like, here's one. So this one is this one has our keys in it, right? So we've got an end date time. That's our field that we're going to be interested in today. We've got an end date time of 2015. So this one's definitely expired by now. And so this key credentials is where we're going to spend most of our time. This is where we're going to spend most of our time trying to find these things. Now, one thing that would be nice is if we can filter on those that still exist,
And those that
or those
only have
that do
credentials,
exist.
right?
Yeah.
You mean?
So like this one in particular, you'll notice this is an asymmetric X509 cert. So this is a certificate-based key credential. So this is not a
Client secret.
this is not a client secret. The ones that are client secrets instead are of type symmetric, because it's a symmetric key. Because you use the key both directions. Like here's a symmetric one, right? So what we want to do. So the question was about doing this on a timer. Well, we happen to have a thing that's really good at doing timers, right?
Yep.
So let's create a folder. We'll call this secret rotator. And we'll use Azure. I guess we can use Azure Functions, right? Unless you got something else in mind.
I do not. You could use a console, I guess.
Scheduled task, yeah. We'll use a function, because a function we get a timer, we get timer-based stuff with, so we can just use that, and then we don't have to worry about it. So let's do a func new. We'll do a name, and we'll call this secret rotator. And then what else do we need? What else do we need in a func new? No. We got to do a func init, right?
Yes.
Func init. So we'll do regular.net. We're not going to do isolated. We'll do isolated later. So we'll do regular.net.
Thinking about it. There you go.
Okay.
Now
and then, now we'll do a func new. And the name, we'll call this rotator, since we called the thing secret rotator. And then we'll do the template. We'll do, what is it? Is it timer trigger? Okay. I guess we could have picked if I gave it one that didn't exist. We'll see if my guess was correct. Oh, it was. Good. I'll take it. All right. Let's go to VS Code and get to work.
Let's get to work.
All right. Let's see. Where is my VS Code? All right. Come on, VS Code. You can do it. I know you can open. That's the problem. I've put so many extensions in here that now it's as slow as Visual Studio.
You do have a lot of extensions there. Damn.
I need to get. Well, the thing is, 2/3 of them came from the Azure package. I need to get rid of some of them. Like Docker. I don't use Docker. I mean, I don't use it on Windows anyway. I definitely use it elsewhere, but don't use it on Windows, because why'd you do that? Okay, so we've got our function. It's up, and we've got there's our timer. So this is what, every 5 minutes, I think.
Yep.
I don't know my cron. I don't know my cron expressions without looking them up, but I'm pretty sure that's
idea. It's like
every 5 minutes.
It is like it's okay. Move on. It will come to me. I need more coffee.
Well, there is I found once a really cool site that goes and helps us.
I know it. Regular expressions, cron and regular expressions. You always have to look them up, unless you do them day in, day out.
Yeah. Well, here, I think it's called, what is it, crontab.io. God, I hope this isn't something awful. Oh, no, it's not, but that was risky.
It was. I admire your courage. Blindly diving into a random crontab.io.
There's one I've used.
To university?
Oh, it's crontab.cronhub.io. This was the thing. This is the one I think. No, this isn't it. Okay, so every 5 minutes.
But remember, Azure Functions have an idiosyncrasy on how you define the cron timer.
Yeah, that's true. So Azure Functions cron timers, because, it's Microsoft, right? We can't do things exactly the way everybody else does.
Yes. It's a different flavor of cron timer.
So they're slightly different, of course. So let's see. It uses in cron tab. So it's second, minute, hour, day, month, and day of week. So what we've got, so once every 5 minutes is the default. So that's this one. We kind of only need this once a day, right? But we'll use the once every 5 minutes for now.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So those are the same. I'll paste it just to make sure. Okay. So in our function, we got to make a couple graph queries, right? So what should we use to do that with, Christos? What do you think?
I will use the SDK.
Okay, we'll go use the Graph SDK. So let's do a .NET add package, and it's Microsoft.graph, right?
Microsoft.graph, yes.
All right.
And there's a separate one for beta if you're working with the beta one, but we're not right now.
Yeah, we don't. Luckily, we don't need to do that. So, and that's the thing. Like, since these are just static, like we should really do it the right way and create a startup and do all of our dependency injection and stuff. But for the moment, let's just, for the sake of simplicity, we'll skip that, and the sake of having 27 minutes left. So we're going to have a new graph service client, and the graph service client is the thing that we're going to use to go and query the graph. So
you need to authenticate that lovely client.
Graph. And our graphs, so it's going to be expecting an authenticator, correct?
Yes.
Yep, an authentication provider. So what kind of graph authentication providers do we have, if any?
You can do client secret if you want, client credentials.
And that is a client credential provider. Is that what that one is?
Oh, wait. I would look it up.
Client's secret. Yeah, you're right. We should probably look it up. Microsoft.graph. We've got a client certificate authentication, but we don't want client certificate. We want a client secret. Doesn't look like it's in here either. So there was an auth package at one point, but I don't think they use that one anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. Choose an authentication provider. I'll put it in the chat. Did you find it? Let me.
What's the authentic? Which one? Which authentication providers do we have for Graph?
You have integrate Windows, resource owner, device code, and interactive. Daemon app, client credentials, client credential provider. Confidential client application. Sorry, I'll send you the link. I'll put in the chat.
So let's see. This is choose a graph authentication provider based on scenario. So this is what we're looking for. Is the client credentials provider.
Yep.
So we build so this is different yet again. So we're going to create confidential client app builder. That's MSAL. So I guess we're going to need MSAL too, and then we're going to create a new client credential provider. So that means if we're going to create us an MSAL, we've got to do a .NET add.
This changed recently, right? Because up until maybe some time ago, they did not work with MSAL out of the box. They had to use a custom. Yeah.
When was this doc updated? 5.18.
5.18.
Just 3 days ago. Yep. Okay, well, that's cool, though. That's great, because that actually means that we don't have to do a bunch of extra stuff, right? So we'll just call this MSAL, and this is client credential. Let's do using Microsoft Identity client. So this will be a confidential client application. Is it a builder?
No. Oh, yeah, it is a builder. By the way, you know what I just realized?
What?
Now we need a rotator app to rotate our rotator secrets.
What we'll do is we'll run this with managed identity.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Love it.
Because if we run
because
if we run our function with managed identity,
we don't have to worry about.
We don't have to worry about that secret. Although this thing could update its own secret, right? Be kind of like Thrasman, right?
It will update itself while it updates everything else. I love it.
Yeah. So we got to get us a client ID, and then we need, let's see, we'll do, since we're going to be in our own tenant, let's go ahead and use with tenant ID, or is there another one? Let's see, with tenant ID, we'll just put ours in here. Obviously, we need to put these into config with client secret.
Yep.
We'll have to put our secret in here. And let's see, we'll need, I think that's all we need, is it not?
And dot build. Yeah.
Yep. And then a dot build. Okay. So our graph service client is going to look for, we need a new client.
Client credential provider.
Client credential provider. And that's going to take in our MSAL object.
Yep, that is correct.
Let's see. What are we missing? What namespace is that client credential provider in? Client credential provider.
New client.
So what library is that in? I wonder.
That is a good question. I think that's part of, that should be part of graph, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
Okay.
But IntelliSense isn't telling me which assembly it's in, so I guess we better go look.
Just IntelliSense?
Oh, this one was from last March.
Wait, are we looking at the wrong?
Oh, it's part of the Microsoft.graph.auth package.
Oh, they still have a separate. Oh,
I guess
maybe
so.
they separate it out. Okay.
So let's go look at that package. See, that package has been in preview for a long time. So I thought it was gone. So let's look at the basics here. So access tokens, registering apps, yeah, blah 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 blah. Getting an access token, next steps. So get access without a user, which is what we need anyway. So get an access token. Oh, these are just raw API calls, which we should probably have done in the first place. This is why I don't use SDKs, because it feels like every time I try to, they don't work. What package is the package to use right now? Let's go to NuGet and look. Not that one. Microsoft.graph.auth. Let's see. If it's still in preview, we won't use it. If it is in preview, if it is not in preview, we'll use it. It's still in preview. That's what I don't get.
It's been in preview for what? Almost 2 years now? 3 years?
It's been in preview for a long time, since 19. Wow. 1.0 preview has been out since 19. So,
what are you previewing, folks? What are you previewing?
Wasn't there a delegated authentication provider? I mean, that's the one we always end up using anyway, right?
Yeah.
So we'll call this MSAL client credential authentication provider. Because, I mean, I don't really want to use a preview library that's been in preview for that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll do an authentication provider here. Okay. And let's implement this interface here. And it has authenticate request async, so it makes it pretty easy. So we're going to take our MSAL. We're going to move this down here. Oh no, what did I do? We're going to put our MSAL down here and authenticate request async. And then our provider, we'll just give it our new MSAL client credential authentication provider, which we would probably want to wire this up anyway, so that we're not constantly recreating these, but we can,
make it static.
Come back around to that.
Yep.
So we gotta get a client ID and secret. We'll come back to that. So the other thing we need to do is on our so in MSAL, we need to get a token. So we're going to acquire token for client, and then we need to give it some scopes, and the scopes are going to be graph.microsoft.com/whack/.default. So we're going to go get this, and we'll just call this token request. Oops. And we've got to await it, which means this needs to be async. Okay. So we're going to await our token call here, and this needs to be an array of scopes, which we also need to go configure our scopes for what we're going to need. Still doesn't like that.
Why not?
Let's see. Acquire token for client parameter builder. Oh, execute async. That's what we need. We need an execute async at the end. Duh. Okay. So then we get the incoming request from the graph call. So the graph call is going to use this. The graph SDK is going to send us the HTTP request that it's making, and we're just going to add the authorization header to it. All right. So an authentication header value of bearer with a value of token request dot access token. Now, of course, we're not guarding against anything here, but whatever.
Make it work, then make it nice.
And that should be it. So we got to go create us an app, and we got to give it the right permissions. But I think this is all we need for our authentication to work. Mm-hmm. And then what we'll actually do in our query, let's see, service principals or expiring secrets. And in our graph client, we're going to look at service principals.
Yep.
We're going to get a service principal. I think we do a request, right? And then this is where we can add our selects and our filters and stuff, right?
Yep.
We've got our request object. We're going to do a select. We're also going to do a filter. Hopefully we can make our filter work. And then we'll do a get async on it. So
you can filter everything in Graph Explorer and then grab the code from there.
Yeah. So this is going to give us our list of expiring secrets. And then what do we want to do with them?
We could rotate them automatically. If it's like, let's say if it is within a day or 2 days or a week, we could rotate them.
I think Sahil's question earlier in Discord was he just wants to be notified of them, right?
Or we can just send an email.
All right, let's send an email. So should we use Graph to send an email?
Yes.
It seems like the best thing to use, right? Because it's available.
The best thing to use. Yeah.
So let's look at this here. So let's do a. I'm just going to create another method for doing this here.
You don't have to. You can use the SendGrid binding if you want to do that, right?
If you want to paste SendGrid, right? Yeah.
Sorry.
If you want to paste SendGrid.
If you want to paste SendGrid, I'm just saying there are options there. You don't have to use that. You could also put in the queue, and then you can let a logic app pick it up and send the email for you, which will be using Microsoft 365 and therefore Graph under the covers.
That's true.
It's totally up to you.
So let's do a new message, and we'll do a new. Is it mail message? I think.
I haven't done emails in a while, so.
Let's look at Microsoft.graph.mail. Maybe it's just message. I'm going to create a new message. Mm-hmm. Oh no, what happened to my Zoom? I must have hit the wrong button.
Yeah, you messed up the Zoom, that's for sure.
So we'll do a message. And I don't think it doesn't. I'm kind of not convinced, or I'm not super confident that we're supposed to new up these items, but let's see. Oh yeah, we can. So let's see.
It says create message. Show me the C# code. Oh yeah, there you go. New message. You need the subject. You need importance. You need a body.
Okay, we need who it's going to, right?
That is correct. 2 recipients. It needs to be a new list, I think. Yep.
All right. So we've got a list.
It's a recipient. You need to create a recipient, not email address.
Oh.
List of recipients.
All right. So we're going to create
a new email address. Yeah.
So we create a new recipient, and the recipient has an email address, which is it's an email address object.
Yep.
We need a new email address.
And then in there the address.
And then the address, and then I'll just use mine for the moment. Okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so we need a
You
using.
also need a body and a subject.
Okay. So this is an extremely verbose way to this is when object orientation goes a little wrong. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what else do we need? We need a from.
You need no, you don't need a from. You need a subject and you need a body. And that's it.
So if we called the last one Thrasman, what do we call this one?
Secret man.
Secret Agent Man. It's kind of what it is, right?
It is, yeah.
It's okay. So
Sounds like a superhero. We'll run out of names eventually.
okay, so things are expiring, and then we need a body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about you, but my Word ML skills are a little rusty. So let's see.
Yeah. Inside there, you need a new item body. So you can't new item
That's right. We
body.
can't just
Body
send it.
equals new item body. Yep.
Okay, so we've got our item body, and this is going to have a bunch of properties on it. So there's like a
It
rich.
has a content type, which needs to be body.html or body dot clear text or only text only. Don't know what the enum is. It actually
We'll
has
do
an enum.
HTML.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So we got content type. Do we need anything else for that?
No, content type and content. That's it.
All right. So I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of writing HTML and
In code.
I'm a big fan of writing HTML in code. What could possibly go wrong?
I heard you love that, so we created React for you.
Okay. Your idea about doing it with a logic app would actually be pretty good thing here. But whatever, we'll come back around to it. Hello, some secrets are expiring, and then I guess we'll do a table because if we're gonna hand roll this, we might as well do it the right way.
Oh God! So you need a loop there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right. We are gonna need a loop. So let's take this main content block out. This will be our template.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe this is embarrassing. So let's call this the body template.
We've done worse than that, you know that.
I don't know if that's a thing we should admit to, but and then hey, come and listen to us at Bill. Let anybody in, apparently.
Well,
So
there will be a lot of HTML hand rolling at build. How about that?
So we'll do our folder here, or we'll do our string format down here. Okay. So our content is going to be just a string format of body template and our next object, which we don't have yet. Okay.
Yep.
Although really you would think we should probably make this generic and have send email, take in a message, and then we'll just send the message and let the caller figure out and build the table.
Yeah. We'll fix it later. Let's make it work.
So let's do a list of, let's see, we're going to get service principals out of this.
Mm-hmm.
But we really only need the key credentials.
Well, you need an ID and a credential, right?
Yeah, so expiring secrets. What doesn't it like about this? Oh, it's not async. That would be why. Okay. And then our select, we're going to select the ID, the key credentials, and the app display name, right?
Yes.
And then we still have to figure out what our filter is going to be.
Yeah,
Filter to only.
I think we want only apps that have key credentials, and only apps that the key credential is not a certificate.
Yep. Well, we might want to notify on those too, right?
That's a good point. Yeah. Why exclude them?
Let's just get all of them.
Yeah. Get all of them as long as they have a key secret, a key credential.
So in our expiring secrets,
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. This is going. So our filter. We're just going to put an empty one here, so at least I can figure out our object type. So our object type here. Let's do. These are service principals. Okay, so we're going to get a list of service principals, and the things we want off of those service principals. We really just want the ID. New, and we really just want the ID. We want the display name, the app display name, and then the key credentials themselves.
Yes.
That's going to be an array of key credentials too. So our key credentials.
Yeah.
So the key credentials we need to filter to those that are expiring if we can't do that filter on the server side, which of course we'd want to do. Because we don't want to pull back thousands of these things every time, right?
Nope. Yeah, especially for large organizations that will have lots of app registrations.
Yeah. So let's look at our key credentials here. And all right, hang on. Let's go over to Graph and try to filter. Let's see if we can build the correct filter for this.
Yeah, I was thinking we do it first in Graph Explorer and then we grab the code from there. Let's be efficient.
Okay. So in our Graph Explorer, right now we're doing a select, and then we also need to do a filter. So let's figure out our filter. Now I don't know if this is going to be filterable.
Yeah, some properties are not filterable.
Yeah, we do need to do a couple things first. So in our headers, we have to add our consistency level that lights up newer functionality. So our consistency level is what we have to add this header to the request. We also have to add a $count equals true to the request, and the combination of these two things, this header and this count equals true, those will let us use more advanced filtering.
Yep.
So on the filter, what we really want to filter to are apps. We really want to filter to their key credentials, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Oops. Let me put this
date on that.
This is not a very good query designer. So I'm going to put this over here just so we've got it while we work on this filter.
Yep.
For the filter, so because it's an array, we need to filter on an array property. And we've done this before in B2C. And I've got it in a sticky note. So let me go grab my notes. In fact, I think Bolt helped us conjure this query from nothing. Let me go look at my notes here. Let me get my sticky note up here. So we're going to filter where why is it slow? Key credentials. I've broken it. Hope my machine doesn't green screen or something. So we got key credential, and then we'll do any, and then X, which is the credential, and then X, what was it? End date times. That's our property that we want to filter on. Where the end date time is less than today. I don't know if we have a date now. Do we get a date now in here? I wonder. I don't know. Let's see. So Graph. Let's see. Microsoft Graph. Comparison. I feel like this is going to be a hard no, but it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's. You kind of wonder, like, if you're in a large org, you almost wonder if you should keep a copy of this data, like keep a copy with a subscription. Yeah. Keep a copy of the subscription so that you have your own copy of it and you can kind of query that however you need to, because there may actually be some other benefit to doing that, right? Like if you've got your own copy of all of the things that you need, or all the service principals in your directory, you can actually do some interesting stuff with that. But let's see. Let's look at what filters we can use.
Bolt says you can do today dot add days plus.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's LT today.add days 3. Interesting. I'm going to take your word for this, Bolt, because I have I am not, I don't know. Oh, we have to figure out what today.add days would be.
Oh.
Okay. Well, let's just do less than today. So let's do less than, and do we have to do a date parse in here? OData types. Oops, OData. OData types in Microsoft Graph. So I imagine if this is a date type, which I don't know, we'd have to go pull the schema and look. If this is a date type, then we'll have to parse our dates to do a comparison to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start really basic, and we'll just do 20, 21, 12, 31. I don't think this is going to work at all, but we'll see. Okay, so bad filter clause. Okay. So LT not the right one for less than?
That is a good question.
LT, yeah, should be LT.
Invalid filter clause.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I did do it. I did kind of just toss it up there and hope. Also use single quotes instead. Nope. So filter not supported. And that's a different error message, which leads me to believe that we won't be able to filter on these.
Won't be able to filter server side.
Yeah. In other words. Which means we got to pull them all down and filter on our own.
Pull all the ones that have a client, a key credential, and then filter on that in code.
Now we could do key credential where key credential is not, well, it's not, they're not null, they're empty.
True.
So let's see if we can find, let's see if we can find a not empty on an array. Filter out empty, or here we go. Look at this. Filter out empty arrays in Microsoft Graph. Thanks. I've accepted this thing 48 times from here. All right. So this is a filter. So filter out empty arrays in Microsoft Graph. Oh, look, I'm pretty sure this is somebody doing exactly what we're trying to do. And there are no answers, except for there's no way. As far as I know, there's no way to to filter one out. Of course. So I almost think
old is that? That's last year?
No, this was February 20th.
Okay.
This is just the other day.
3 months ago.
So
February was 3 months ago. Scary.
Yeah. So not that long ago. So what I'm thinking, so now it kind of makes me wonder. I mean, we'll finish this one part. Like we'll finish this part out of going, because we'll have to do all the query. We'll essentially do a bunch of link queries on the array, or on the data that we get back. We're gonna have to page it, so we're gonna have to wait for all the pages to come back. So it's gonna be pretty slow, but it's a non-interactive timer job, so who cares, right?
Yeah.
I do think, however, it would be an interesting thing for us to go down to build out how would we do this with, say, a graph subscription, so that every time a new service principal gets created or every time a new key credential gets created, we record the fact that happened. And we could even do like a true up once a week of, this is what we have, this is what we've gotten from the subscription. Let's go make sure we're still in sync.
Yeah.
Because I don't think pulling down the entirety of your directory every hour, every 24 hours even, is really probably that feasible. And especially if you're looking at Azure Functions, where you're going to have function execution time limits. and memory limits. You really want to pull all those into memory? I mean, if I go look at ours, like at our directory, I mean, even my little directory, which is admittedly quite old, even mine already has quite a few applications in it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I dump the query somewhere? What do you mean, Bolt? Yes, I've got 167 apps in this directory, which is literally just me. So, you go look at at work, for example, and that number is
that one run.
Yeah, like there's no way that would
it on
be
the Microsoft tenant. That would be insane, right?
Yeah, like there's no way that would be feasible for work, right? Like for a place of this size. I don't remember. I saw this at one point, but it's like measured in the millions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you'd hit graph throttling before that. So I think what we'll do for this version, I guess, is we will essentially get all of them and then plow through them, right? And then we will next week we'll do we'll build like a proper one, like a subscription based. We keep a cache. Could even look at doing some interesting reporting on our service principals, like what kind of permissions are they using, which would be kind of an interesting thing too. Mm-hmm. So I think that'd be kind of fun. So anyway, because I got to go because it's noon, I got to go. So I got to go to another meeting. So what I'll do for the moment, because Bolt is asking to, let's create a repo for this. So we'll do th repo create 425 show secret rotator public. Go ahead and create it. No, don't create a directory. We'll do a get init. We'll do a get ignore is already there. So let's see, get add, get commit. Okay. And we'll do a get remote add, and this will be what? GitHub.com 45 show secret rotator. Oh, I didn't do it right. Oh, I got to give it a name. And so we'll call this origin. And we'll do a push from origin, or to origin from main. Cool. All right. So the repo is up there. This is what we're going to work on. I guess we'll work on this over the next few weeks because we get a lot of asks for this anyway. The query that we were just working on, Bolt, I'll just go dump this over here in the chat so everybody can get it. I'll also just go put it in the we'll put it in the repo itself. You just go grab it from the 45 show repo. In fact, I will just put it here. So we'll just get that added. Adding stuff. And now it should all be up there. And of course, if you're interested and you want to do any sort of, you want to, jump in and contribute to any of these things, these are all out. These are all out online. So, yeah. I'm definitely not the boss, Cyrade. We work on the same team together. Christos and I do.
Boss. Are you the boss?
If anybody's the boss around here, it's probably you.
Pair programming, yeah. I am the dumb person that asks all the questions. So you don't have to. I don't have to pretend. There you go.
Well,
is the boss.
How about now? Now you're the guy on top.
Aha! Now I am the boss. I will teach you.
This is what we'll do from here on out.
If only promotions worked like that at Microsoft, that would be.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We got to get that part figured out. Whoever's on top makes the money. Now Christos is the boss.
Oh no! Now we're even. Who's gonna make the decisions? It's gonna be Vicky in this team. Hey, Thanks for sticking out with us. We will definitely see you next week. We have a lot of activities planned. Make sure you join Discord. We'll publish some stuff there. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. And we look forward to seeing everyone next week. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Let's go raid. I guess we'll go raid Fritz because he's still coding away.
Rolling. Yes.
So let's go over to Fritz, and we'll see you all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Sounds good.
See you, everybody.